What a nice day today, everyone. Isn't it nice outside? I felt like today would be another good day to have a live stream outside in nature. So let me just put my board right around here. Welcome, everyone, to our live stream. In fact, this will be an advanced level live stream. How is everyone doing? Let me just check the comments for a little bit. I cannot scroll, so let me check here. Hold on. See if I missed. Okay, I was looking at my comments. Okay, hey, Cheryl, Ocean Discovery. I'm here, I'm just reading your comments. Arlie, welcome. Sam Strongarm. Nika, welcome, Nika. Small, Bora. Who else is here? Lauren Wilson. And Chris White. Okay. Welcome, everyone. We have an interesting live stream planned for today. First, some quick announcements. If you are new to these live streams, just so you know, everyone who is a member of my Patreon page, even at the lowest tier, the lowest level as well, even the $1 level, has access to every outline and every worksheet that I've done for every live stream since now over 2 years ago. So today there also is a worksheet already up. I believe it has something like 16 or so practice translations that you can do. Some from English to Korean, most of them Korean to English. So you can practice with the advanced form we're going to be learning today. You can do that before we start the live stream or after the live stream, but I recommend usually them after. Also, after the live stream finishes, you will also get to download, if you'd like, the outline for today's live stream, which has all of the examples on it, all of the explanations I give to you, as well as like detailed comparisons that I put up. All of these are for Patreon members. Next announcement is, of course, there is some merchandise. I'm always trying to peddle my merchandise. I pinned it to the chat. So if you're interested in that, that's just one more way you can support me. I know some people do that. It's not a huge, it's not like a huge income maker for me, but I just thought it's kind of cool to have some merchandise that's available. So you can check that out also. There is a Discord channel that's quite active that's been running now for 2 years, and you can go in there, practice your Korean, ask Korean questions, get news about what's going on with future videos, or make requests for live streams, all that stuff. So also make sure to check out the Discord channel. The other announcement is some people have messaged me asking if I do one-to-one tutoring. The answer is kind of. I do have a limited number of spots if you're someone who's interested in doing one-to-one. Doesn't have to be tutoring, just one-to-one talking with me. And you can find information about that as well in this video description, or ask anyone on the Discord for information on that. And finally, if you are a YouTube member, so I can see a lot of wonderful YouTube members. You guys have the special icons next to your name, depending on how long you've been a member for. For YouTube members, you also get access to watch all of these live streams abridged the same night that they finish. So after today's live stream, usually within about 4 hours or so of the live stream finishes, you can check on my YouTube channel and you can find the full abridged version. So it'll be like a 10 to 20 minute edited version of the live stream. You get to watch that the same day. So tonight, everyone else, you'll get to watch it usually around Wednesday or Thursday of the same week. So that's just another benefit for members, in addition to getting access to sometimes outtake videos or extra posts and stuff like that. Okay, so I do have another small announcement. Some of you who followed my Twitter are aware that my tablet died. So I'm actually using it right now. I've got my tablet. It died, but it's mostly dead. All right, I'll say that. It's mostly dead. It's not dead yet, though. But what happened is the tablet, I updated Windows, and I'm not really going to blame this on Windows. I'm going to blame this on the tablet itself. It was poorly made. It was a budget tablet from over 6 years ago. Yeah, at least over 6 years ago. So anyway, when I did an update to it, it deleted all of the tablet's drivers, which means I can't see if there's battery. I can't see how much battery is left. I can't touch it. Touch screen doesn't work. Can't turn it. Can't take a picture with a camera. Can't even power it off by pushing the power button unless you like hold it in. So it's basically just like a monitor for a computer, but there's nothing like if I just had a monitor in my hands. So, and no, it didn't undie. It's dead. It's quite dead, but yeah, mostly dead, like I said. So, it still kind of works. I can use, I have a USB keyboard I can control it with. But like I said, I don't know when it's going to die. I don't know how much power it's using. It doesn't have any tablet features. So yeah, it kind of works, but I want to get a new tablet because, like I said, this is no longer reliable now. And it was a budget tablet 6 years ago. So donations today will go toward, I normally, you don't have to make donations, just, you know, this is completely free, completely 100% free class. The live streams are all free. The abridged versions are all free. Everything's free except for the outline or the worksheet, which is $1 on Patreon. But anyone who donates, it's just for people who can. It's not expected at all. But any donations from today's live stream will go toward my tablet fund. So that's all I'm saying. I should probably get a new tablet because I don't know if this one keeps working, I can keep using it. But I have a feeling that the battery itself is also kind of dying since it's 6 years old. So we'll find out. Yeah, I can use it. What can you use it for now? I can only use it, like I said, as looking at stuff. So it doesn't really work for anything else. It's too slow to watch videos or anything. So it kind of works for what I'm doing, just looking at comments, but like I can't scroll or anything. I can't click on anything. So yeah, kind of useless. Danger Walker. Walker. Texas Ranger. Okay, Danger, thank you. Thanks, Danger. Okay, I gotta do 5 dabs since you gave a $5 donation. So let's get, it's gonna be $1 per dab. Thank you, Danger. And if anyone else is wondering why we're not teaching, I always start about 10 minutes or so early just for announcements. We will start the lesson right on time at 2 o'clock, in my time 2 o'clock, which is 7 minutes from now. Oh, Cheryl, get it? Wow, I didn't even see that. They are not that expensive anymore, and I will want to see it when it arrives. Cheryl, wow, thank you so much. That's so nice. Wow, okay, now I have to do 20 dabs. Maybe I should change it to push-ups. Push-ups, then my wife will be happy if I start exercising. Cheryl, wow, thank you. Okay, we got to do 20 dabs for Cheryl for $20 donation. Okay, let's do some, let's get some music in here. Got to get the dab party going. And let's see, we need plenty of time. Okay, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other way. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew. Okay. And those dabs are pretty tiring. Okay. We've done 20 dabs and we just haven't even started the lesson yet. Push-ups, yeah, I think if I had to do push-ups for donations, I would probably just tell people don't donate. Just don't. Because there would be potential that someone would give like $100 donation and I would just die. And there would be no live stream the next week and no videos for like a month. I would donate, but I'm saving up to live in Korea. Wow, that's awesome. When are you planning on going? 5 reps of 4 dabs. Yes, that's, if I had a spotter, then they'd probably have me do it like that. But I'm just doing it alone, so yeah. If I had to do push-ups, I'm not sure about that. Like I said, I would probably die. I think the most push-ups I've ever done in one sitting in my entire life was 100. Yeah, I did 50 a lot, but I think 100 would be the maximum. After 100, I think I would just die. Like, I'm just done. Death for Billy. Yeah, it's only like temporary death. Kind of like, yeah, I have to wait to respawn. So I'm not dead forever, but it is quite a long respawn period. Squats. I used to do more exercise, I'd say, before, probably until this whole situation started in February. I used to do more regular exercise, and I kind of stopped after that. But yeah. Yeah, squats could be pretty easy. But the thing is, you can't really see squats here because of my green screen. So even if I'm like doing a squat, you won't even see it. So that's the problem. All right, we'll start in just 4 minutes. In case you're wondering, what are we doing? What are you doing, Billy? It's just, You're just randomly praying I won't struggle like I did with Pa. Hopefully not. Yeah. So I guess we can go over the prerequisites for today. So this is an advanced level lesson. With that said, there are obviously different types of advanced stuff. There are topics that are advanced in that you need to know lots of other stuff to use them. And then there are topics that are advanced which are legitimately difficult to understand. Now, most topics in Korean are not the second. Most topics in Korean are quite easy to learn, such as last time we did the advanced lesson we did, the last one was quite easy to learn. But advanced in that in order to use it, you have to know all of the intermediate level grammar. Or else not all of it, you have to know a lot of intermediate grammar or else you won't actually be able to even use it. This is kind of like that. My voice just cracked. Again, I'm 34 and I'm going through puberty again, it seems. This one is similar to in that it is not difficult to understand. It should be quite straightforward and easy to understand. But in order to actually use it yourself, you'll need to know a lot of intermediate grammar. To be specific though, if you're wondering, like, you feel like you know intermediate stuff, okay, then I want to make sure, just to confirm, for this lesson, you really want to know about changing conjugating action verbs. Oh, Gabriela. Thank you, Gabriela. I don't know what R means. Gabriela. I'll just say it's 2. I don't know what R means. Carrie, thank you. Let me just give Gabriela her 2 dabs first. Okay. I actually don't know if it's more or less than 2 dabs because I don't know that currency. But thank you. And Carrie. Wow. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll get a new tablet after all. Or at least I want to have a fun, that way I can buy one as soon as this. I feel like this is not even going to turn on much longer. That's the other thing I wanted to say before I dab. This tablet doesn't even charge. That's the other problem, which is why I was saying it's half dead. It has a battery, but the thing is, if you plug it in, it'll look like it's charging, but it actually isn't. It'll like start charging and then the light will turn off and you think it's charged, but actually you'll turn it on, you'll be like, yay, and then it shuts off after a few minutes. Like, you don't really know if it's charged or not because the port is broken. Like, it needs to be like angled the right way, but even if you angle it, it might not charge. So that's another problem. Okay, awesome. Carrie, let me give you let's do a dab party. Let's do a kimchi dab party. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, thank you. And we got a new member too. Quentin Webb. Thank you. Oh, okay. Hold on, let me just catch my breath. 1 second. Quentin, I know membership's about, depends on the country, it's about $5. So, okay, hold on. 5 dabs for Quentin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, let's get started with our lesson today. Quentin, did you break? Oh, I thought Quentin broke my board. It was another donation. Mel. Thank you. Five. Thank you for the $5 or five European dollars. Not a lot, but I hope you can get a new tablet soon. Thanks for your Korean lessons. Thank you for your donation. Okay, hold on. Okay, I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, now we're done. Now we're ready to start class. Just need a second. Oh my goodness. Tuesday. Hold on. Just a second. Tuesday. Tuesday. Thanks for being such a bomb teacher, Billy. You don't have to dab. Conserve your energy. I have to dab. My people are expecting it. Okay. Here we go, Tuesday. I'm gonna do my left arm because I did too much with my right. Okay, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Whew. All right, thank you everyone for your donations. We will get started with the lesson now. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. Someone's saying this will be an interesting live to edit. I'll just cut all of the dabs out. I sometimes keep some stuff in, but I usually try to cut it down to just the lesson. Okay, for today we're going to be learning about a special word, and that is Han. Now, what is Han? You've probably seen Han used before in other words if you're an intermediate speaker. For example, you might know the word 제한, meaning a limit. Well, Han comes from a Chinese word. I'll try to write it up here. I'm not a master at Chinese or anything. Something like, oh, actually I should have done like that after. Okay, something like that. You don't need to know that, but there are other hanja that is read as Han, but it's not that. It's not this one. This one is a hanja that means limit. As in, what is the limit? There are limits, right? As far as you can go, that's the limit. In that sense, it can also mean a boundary. So this word, Han, comes from Chinese and can mean limit or a boundary, or more naturally, just as far as you can go. In that sense, it could also translate as the end of something. So it's the farthest that you can go, the limit to where you can go, that boundary or that end. So just kind of keep that in mind. Boundary, I think, is the closest translation of this word. So there actually is a Korean expression you might see sometimes that is Hani Opta. Hani Opta, or just Han Opta. Well, Hani Opta literally means there is no limit or boundary or end. And this is just an expression Koreans might use to say, oh, there's no end of something. There's no end to it. There's no end. In that way, meaning there is no boundary. It just keeps going. There is no limit. You can keep going, so there is no end in that sense. So this is not related. This is not the form we're going to be learning today, Hani Opta. We're going to be learning a different form that uses this same letter. What am I saying? Syllable. The same word. So in the form we're going to be learning today, Han can translate better as something else. Condition, or a requirement for something. A condition for or a requirement, in the sense that in the boundaries that, okay, I'll explain this. In the boundaries that, action verb. Actually, I'll just say verb because there actually are some exceptions. We'll talk about those too. Okay. So the form we're going to be learning today uses this same word Han, which can mean limit or boundary or end, but it does it with an action verb. So let me show you what that looks like. You take an action verb stem and you attach nun followed by Han. So if you take the action verb hada, to do, you'll get ha nun han. If you take the action verb 먹다, to eat, you'll get 먹는 한, 먹는 한. Just like that. That's all you have to do to it. Now, verb stems that end with a lir, like usual, will remove the lir before you do this. So what you're doing essentially is you're changing the action verb into an adjective in the present tense. So you should be familiar with this conjugation form before starting this lesson. So action verb stem plus nun followed by han. You get the literal meaning of in the boundaries that verb. Now, if you're using the verb hada, in the boundaries that someone or something does something, is a literal way to think of this form, but you can also think of it more naturally as just under the conditions that, or with the requirements that something happens with an action verb. So you can kind of think of it like if, right? If because if is a condition. If something happens, kind of like that. If it's required, the requirement of doing something. So kind of like if something happens, if action verb, well then what happens after that? So in that sense, you can kind of think of this as meaning if in the way that it's used, but it literally means something like in the condition of, or the condition of doing something, or the requirement of doing something, or in the boundaries, within the boundaries that action verb happens, or verb happens, like that. So we're going to show some examples of this. Hopefully this will make a bit more sense. I just wanted to go over the literal meaning before we talk about how to use it. So next, let's talk about how it's used. Okay. Right, we're starting off a little bit harder. We'll get a little bit easier when I talk about how to use it. So you take an action verb, you attach nun, then you attach han. So what does that mean? Well, this form means A, whatever action verb comes before it. So you have action verb with nun, and then han, B, whatever comes after it. So what this really means is in the boundaries that A, or, you know, A, if A, then B. That sort of sense. What it means is, more literally quite, A is the condition for B. So if we look at this backwards, it might even make a little bit more sense. Basically, this means you get B as long as you have A. So this is what the form means. You take an action verb stem and you attach nun, han, followed by whatever comes after that. So we have A, han, B. That means A, therefore, is the condition for B. So the only reason that B happens is because of A, because A is the requirement. A is the condition for B. That's what this form means. But if you reverse it, it might make a little bit more sense. You get B as long as A, and A will be some sort of verb. So B as long as A, in the sense that A, yes, A, if A is the requirement for B. So that's what this form means. How do we use this form now? Hopefully you're taking some notes because we'll come back to I'll come back to showing how that makes sense with the sentences. So we get the meaning of B as long as A. I'll go back to this little part here. I can also go to there. Opta, kwanhada. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about this stuff actually after we get a sentence. Okay, let me do an example sentence, and then we're going to go back and talk a little bit more about how this form is used. 주변에 도움이. Now, 주변 means surroundings, but you can think of it as kind of meaning like around us. So, 주변의 도움, so help from others around us, or help literally surrounding help. That's what it means literally. 주변의 도움이 없는 한. Okay, before I even finish the sentence, let's look at what this means. 주변의 도움, so help from others around us. I said kind of a natural translation. Outside help, you can also think of it like that. 없는 한, 없는 requirement or conditions of not having help. So if you want to think of it like this, if we don't have any help from others, well then what's going to come after that? What could possibly come after the sentence? It could be difficult to learn Korean. It can be difficult to do something, or it's impossible to do something, right? You might think of sentences kind of like that. But literally it means under the requirement or the conditions of having something else. Well, the condition for this, oh wait, am I thinking of this the right way? No, sorry, the other way. Whatever comes after here, this is the condition for that to happen. So you can kind of think of it like if, But it wouldn't translate as if. It's much fancier sounding than that. You can think of this as translating as long as, or unless. This form will translate, this Han form, as long as or unless, in the sense that as long as we don't have help or unless we have help. So as long as is probably going to be the closest translation we'll get, literally. 주변에 도움이 없는 한. So as long as we don't have any help or unless we have help. Let me finish the sentence. 성공하기. 성공하다 is to succeed. 힘들어요. It is hard to succeed. 힘들어요. It is difficult to succeed. If, quite literally, the requirement of B, the requirement to succeed, or I should say, let me look at this way. You get this as long as this. So the emphasis when you use Han is actually kind of on the second half of the sentence here. So 성공하기 힘들어요. It is difficult to succeed. 주변에 도움이 없는 한. Literally, the requirement or the conditions of not having any help from outside, it's difficult to succeed. Unless you have help from outside, unless you have help from others, or as long as we don't have help from others around us, it's difficult to succeed. 주변에 도움이 없는 한. 성공하기 힘들어요. As long as we don't have help from others, as in others around us, 주변, it's difficult to be successful. Or, if you want to translate it as unless, which I think is more natural, you'll have to switch the meaning of the sentence in English. Sorry, yeah. Like if this, in Korean it says 도움이 없는 한. You wouldn't say unless you don't have. You would say in English unless you have. That's just the way that we speak it. We say it in English. But unless would probably be a more natural translation. Unless we have help from others around us, it's difficult to be successful. Okay, this is just our first sentence, so don't worry if this is still a bit confusing. I have 9 more examples of this exact same form, and this is all that we're doing today, except for the end where I'll compare this form with a different advanced form that we learned. I'm going to read this one more time, and I'm going to keep it up on the board for just a minute so you guys can kind of absorb it a bit. 주변에 도움이 없는 한. So, 성공하기 힘들어요. This is B. This is the second part of our sentence. This part, yes, as long as this part. So, the conditions of this. This is the requirement for this. Kind of like that. This leads to this. So if this, then this. Well, if we don't have any help from others around us, then it's difficult to succeed if you want to really simplify down how it's used. But the meaning is more like, this is requirement, this leads to this, is what it's kind of translates more as literally. So yeah, as long as or unless. So unless we have help from others around us, or as long as we don't have help from others around us, it's difficult to succeed. Okay, I'm going to leave this up for just a second. Just like Billy did it there, Koreans usually pause after Han for a moment. Good observation. I didn't think about that. But yeah, you're right. It would sound good to pause. And another note is that you don't add anything to this. You don't say Han topic marker. You don't say Han I or Han ege or Han anything like that. You're not going to add any sort of extra grammar to it. It is exactly as it is. 는 Han. 는 Han. Now we will learn an exception to that where it's not 는 Han, but it's 99% of the time, except for one exception, it's always just 는 Han. So you're not going to have to conjugate this verb differently. It's always except for one exception, which we're going to learn, pretty much just one exception. It's always 는한. So you don't have to learn any weird exceptions to like which verbs conjugate with which verbs. 주변에 도움이 없는 한. 성공하기 힘들어요. So it is difficult to succeed unless we have help from those around us. Okay, I'm going to do another one. Actually, let me just, let's see, can I do that? I'll make a note. This Han form tends to be used also pretty often with opta and 있다, to not exist and to exist. Just wanted to point it out. It's not like a rule, but it's something that you'll notice. They tend to get used with opta and 있다 very frequently. Let me also write again. Just as another statement, this will translate most naturally as long as or unless. Anytime it's used with a negative verb, so opta or any sort of like 지 않다 form, then unless will be a natural translation. So keep that in mind. Anytime the verb coming before han is negative, it will more often translate as unless. But when you translate that into English, do not translate it as unless you don't. It's unless do, unless yes. So you have to flip that. It's just the English translation will sound more natural. If that's difficult for you, just translate it as long as, and you'll always get the correct meaning. It just might not be the most natural translation in English when you do that. Okay, we did that. Okay. We're also going to let's do another one. Let's check the chat for a second. Okay, we did that. Okay, let's do a little bit longer of a sentence. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. 제 시간에 Okay. 10시 버스, the 10 o'clock bus. 놓치지 않는 한. As long as I do not miss the 10 o'clock bus. In this case, actually, I think that sounds fine. That sounds natural. You could also say, unless I miss the 10 o'clock bus. Yeah. But in this case, I think as long as could also work fine too. 제 시간에 도착하다. 제 시간 means in time. 제 시간에 means in time. So to arrive in time. 도착하다 means to arrive. 제 시간에 도착할 거예요. I will arrive on time as long as I do not miss the 10 o'clock bus. Or I'll arrive on time unless I miss the 10 o'clock bus. Either way, they both sound natural in this case. 10시 버스를 놓치지 않는 한 제 시간에 도착할 거예요. 10시 버스를 놓치지 않는 한 제 시간에 도착할 거예요. So, I will arrive on time unless I miss the 10 o'clock bus or as long as I don't miss the 10 o'clock bus. So again, 한. This is the requirement, the conditions for what comes after. So the conditions for me arriving on time are that I do not miss the 10 o'clock bus. So that's what this form literally means. I'm really like saying this a lot. It's just really for fun that I'm stressing the literal meaning of the form. You don't need to know it. If you can translate this as long as or unless, you're good to go. You can use it, you can say it, you can understand it. But I always find it's fun to learn like the literal meaning of the form. So that's why I keep emphasizing this. So literally, the requirement that you do not miss the 10 o'clock bus well, then you will arrive on time. That sort of meaning. But anyway, you don't need to know that. So if you're kind of wondering like, or if you're kind of feeling like, oh, I don't quite get the literal meaning of it, you don't have to. It's just me being Billy. It's just me emphasizing the kind of gritty details about the form that make it interesting. But if you do understand that literal meaning, it might make it easier to distinguish this from the Isang form, which we learned in a previous live stream. And I'll go over that again really briefly at the end of this lesson. But we'll talk about how it's different. But at least if you understand it means as long as, you'll be fine with using it. Okay. Let's go over it one more time then. 10시 버스를 놓치지 않는 한. So, as long as I don't miss the 10 o'clock bus, 제 시간에 도착할 거예요. I will arrive on time. So I'll arrive on time as long as I don't miss the 10 o'clock bus. Or I'll get there on time unless I miss the 10 o'clock bus. Either one of those translations is fine. Okay. Also, I've already said this, but just keep in mind, it is always nun, han, except for a couple small, there's only 2 verbs. We'll talk about those. Otherwise, it's always nun, han. So don't get confused about the conjugation for this. Oh, I saw a donation. Let me just write up the sentence. Actually, let me just keep that. Okay. 받는 사람이 계속 늘어날 거예요. Okay. Okay, I'll just keep that up there. Oh, Grandpa Mikey. I always say Grandpa Mike, but it's Grandpa Mikey. Thank you, Grandpa Mikey. Wow. Awesome. Grandpa. Let's see. Okay, got to do 10 dabs. Let's do the star dabs for Grandpa Mikey. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Switch. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Thank you, Grandpa Mikey. Let's see. How am I doing? I've got $66. I could probably buy a low budget tablet with $66. The one I'm using, which, like I said, right now, this one's like totally like 90% dead. It just turns on, but it does nothing. Doesn't even charge. I could probably replace this one. This one was only $100 when I got it 6 years ago. Awesome. Thank you, though. Okay. Here's our next sentence. 법이 바뀌지 않는 한. 법 means law. So 바뀌다, to change, as in something changes, not I change it. Not a person changes it, but the law itself changes. So unless the law changes, or as long as the law does not change, or the law not changing is the condition that leads to the second half of the sentence. Oh, did I get another donation? Ben. You now have 70. Oh, awesome, Ben. Thank you. Ben Beausergent. Beausergent? Beausergent. I'm just going to say Beausergent. Beausergent. I don't know. How would you say that? I'm guessing it's French. Beausergent. Beausergent. Can you help me pronounce it? Ben. I'm just going to write Ben. Thank you, Ben. Beausergent. Beausergent. Okay, we gotta do dab. 10 dabs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Oh, my arms are getting tired. Oh. Okay. Close enough. Thank you. I was gonna say Beausergent. Okay. Thank you. Now I feel dizzy. I drank some more caffeine. I kind of feel actually dizzy. Yeah, now I'm at 76. Okay. 법이 바뀌지 않는 한. So, the law not changing is the condition for the second sentence. So if the law doesn't change, as long as the law doesn't change, unless the law changes, either of those translations are okay. 피해를 받다. 피해를 받다 means to get injured, to get hurt, to get hurt. So unless the law changes, 피해를 받는 사람, people who are getting hurt, 계속, continually, 늘어나다. 늘어나다 means to increase. To increase. 늘어날 거예요. Will increase continually. People who are getting hurt. As long as the law doesn't change. So unless the law changes, people are going to keep getting hurt. Or more literally, the people who are getting hurt will continue to increase. So more people will keep getting hurt. 법이 바뀌지 않는 한, unless the law changes, or as long as the law doesn't change. 피해를 받는 사람이 계속 늘어날 거예요. People who are getting hurt will continue to increase. 피해를 받는 사람이 계속 늘어날 거예요. There will keep being more and more people who are getting hurt. Unless the law changes, more and more people are going to get hurt, is what it means. 법이 바뀌지 않는 한, 피해를 받는 사람이 계속 늘어날 거예요. Okay, let's do another sentence. How are you guys doing? We're not done with the explanation. There's another two things that I have to explain that relate to this form, but I'm saving them for... Oh, here we go. Okay, 2, 3, 4. The last 4 sentences, we'll do those. Okay. 시간이 허락. 허락 means to permit. 허락하다. So 허락하는 한. Now this one's actually an expression. This is not just using this form 한, but this is actually a common expression you might hear. 시간이 허락하는 한. Literally, the limits or the boundaries that time permits. So as long as time permits, right? As long as time permits. We say that in English too, right? Well, it's a Korean expression. It's a bit fancy. You might not use it, but just know what it means. 시간이 허락하는 한, 끊임없이, so ceaselessly or constantly, continually, 끊임없이, 도전하다 means to challenge or to try, as in like to make an effort to try to do something. We might say challenge it or try to challenge yourself or do something. 하기로 해요. 해요. So, as long as time permits, 시간이 허락하는 한, as long as time permits, 끊임없이, continually, constantly, 도전하기로 해요. I am deciding to try constantly as long as time permits. 시간이 허락하는 한, 끊임없이 도전하기로 해요. So as long as time permits, I plan to constantly keep trying. Right? 시간이 허락하는 한, 끊임없이 도전하기로 해요. 시간이 허락하는 한, 끊임없이 도전하기로 해요. As long as time permits, I plan on constantly trying. So I'm going to keep challenging this. I'm going to keep trying it as long as time permits. Okay. How are we on time? Not bad. Okay. Here's another constant one. Here's another expression you're going to hear. 살아있는 한. Okay, I want you guys to translate this sentence. I think you can do it. Give it your best shot in the chat. 우린 is just 우리는. 우린 뭐든지 할 수 있어요. 살아있는 한, 우린 뭐든지 할 수 있어요. How would you translate this? Yes, Mia Allen. Yes, nice job. Okay, nice. Escher for time permitting. For the other example, yes, as long as time permits or time permitting would be a good way to translate that. As long as we're alive. Yes. 빌리 쌤 천재. 예빈. 들켰다. 딱 걸렸어. Yevin's my friend. She tries to sneak in here and pretend like I can't see her or something. I see you. Okay. As long as we are alive, we can do anything. Yes. 살아있는 한. So, 살아있다, to be alive, to be living. 한, the limits. So within the limits of we are being alive, or this part of the sentence is the condition or requirement for whatever else. So this is, yes, this will happen, but only if this requirement is met. 살아있는 한. So within the limits of us being alive, literally, so as long as we are alive, 우린 뭐든지, whatever, 할 수 있어요. We can do whatever, as long as we're alive. So as long as we're alive, we can do anything. Sort of like that. 살아있는 한, 우린 뭐든지 할 수 있어요. So we can do anything we want. We can do whatever, as long as we're alive. So as long as we're alive, we can do anything. 살아있는 한, 우린 뭐든지 할 수 있어요. 살아있는 한, 나는 계속 한국어를 가르칠 거야. As long as I'm alive, I'm going to keep teaching Korean. Like that, right? In before Billy dies. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay, this is our last one for the base formula, base form, and then we're going to go on to another form, which is actually the same form, but it's a little bit, there's something different. We're going to talk about a fun exception. Okay, I want you guys to translate this sentence. I'm not going to tell you what any of the words mean. I want you to not look at the chat because someone else will know this word. I want you to try it, translating it by yourself. 꿈이 있는 한. 꿈이 있는 한. 희망은 있어요. Dies from dab overlay. Yeah. See, as I was saying, as long as I'm alive, I'll keep teaching Korean. But then if we get another donation and I do 100 dabs and just die. I think I lost one. Where did it go? I just dropped. Oh, here it is. I have these little magnets that hold my paper. I've got like 6 of them. Okay. Hope. All your dream, there's hope. It's a dream, your hope. Okay. There's hope. As long as I have a dream. Yeah. Nice job. Okay. Yeah, nice job. Great job, guys. 꿈, a dream. 꿈이 있는 한. So, the limited by if we have a dream. So, within the boundaries of if we have a dream, so having a dream is the requirement for B. So, if there is no dream, there is no B. That's what this form means. It's that the second part of the sentence only happens, only is if, under the requirement that the first part of the sentence is true. That's what this form emphasizes. It's not just saying like, well, if you have a dream, you have hope. It's not just saying 꿈이 있으면. It's not saying if. It's saying only under the requirement that you have a dream. That's what it's emphasizing. And English does that too with as long as. Like, well, yes, I mean, as long as, but it's emphasizing if, really if. Like, that's the condition for it. So as long as we have a dream, 꿈이 있는 한, as long as you have a dream, or as long as there is a dream, 희망 is hope. 희망은 있어요. 희망은 있어요. You have hope. As long as there is a dream. So as long as we have a dream, there is hope. Or as long as I have a dream, there is hope. Or whatever the subject is. 꿈이 있는 한, 희망은 있어요. So as long as there's a dream, there is hope. Okay, let's go on to the next sentence. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit of a different, I can't even talk. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this verb. Now, this is a descriptive verb, 가능하다, and it means to be possible. to be possible. But I said the form uses an action verb, right? Yes. And it always uses an action verb, except with two verbs, which can be descriptive verb. The first one is 가능하다. So you'll actually hear 가능한 한, 가능, Notice that it comes twice. Han. This is not a typo. This is correct. This first han is just the conjugated form of 가능하다. Han as an adjective, descriptive verb. Han. Now, han here is the word limit or boundary or conditions or requirements. So you get 가능한 han. So within the requirements that it is possible, right? As long as it is possible, yeah, as long as it's possible, or as something as possible is what it means. As long as something as is possible. As long as possible, or as something as possible. But there's something that I need to point out about this. Sometimes this is something that Koreans make a mistake with. This is something that Koreans mess up more than they don't. Koreans will be speaking and they'll want to use 가능한 한, but they think 가능한 한. It must be wrong. Han must be the word, so it's just 가능한, right? You'll hear 가능한 used instead of 가능한 한, but it's wrong. Just so you know. Now you can go correct all of your Korean friends, and then they'll be like, I'm not talking with you anymore, and you'll lose all your Korean friends. But you can at least know the correct way to use it is 가능한 한. But most of the time, you'll see people just use 가능한. So just keep that in mind. It's a common mistake. I shouldn't say most of the time. A lot of the time, you'll see Koreans just say 가능한. And they might say, oh, what's the difference? I don't know. It sounds the same. Well, actually, 가능한 is wrong. Unless it's an adjective. It has to be 가능한 한. But I should say this. Although 가능한 한 means as something as possible, like as long as possible, it's not really commonly used to begin with. There is a more natural way to say something as possible, like as soon as possible, as fast as possible, as much as possible. Instead of using 가능한 한, most people just use 최대한. 최대한. 최대한 means most. 한. 최대한 will be more commonly used in speech. Let me just check something really quick because my tablet, I can't check on my tablet. Sorry. I just want to verify before I say something. Yes, okay. I just wanted to triple check. This han in 최대한 is also the same han. Like, I'm pretty sure it was, but I just wanted to double check. So yeah, 최대한 means as much as possible. So you'll hear 최대한 빨리, as fast as possible. 최대한 많이, as much as possible. 가능한 한 works too, and you'll see that in writing, and it sounds a little bit fancy. So let's see an example of that. I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to use 가능한 한 to say as much as possible or as long as possible, as whatever as possible, as long as it's more like saying as long as it's possible. So if you want to say as long as it's possible, then use 가능한 한. If you want to say as something as possible, use 최대한. So let's do an example. Okay, we did that. We still need to do one more thing for that. Okay, did that. 결혼식. 결혼식 means a wedding ceremony. 결혼식에 가능한 한. I know it sounds repetitive. It's not. 가능한 한. 많은 분. Many people. 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. Okay. 결혼식에 가능한 한 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. So, to the wedding ceremony. 가능한 한. As long as it's possible. Or 가능한 한 많은 분. As many 분. As many people as possible is a better translation for this. 가능한 한 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. Literally, it would be good if many people came as long as it's possible, or as many people as possible came. I hope, this is how you say I hope, 면 좋겠다. So literally, it would be good if. 결혼식에 가능한 한 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. So I hope that as many people as possible come to the wedding ceremony. I hope as many people as possible come to the wedding. 결혼식에 가능한 한 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. Okay. 결혼식에 가능한 한 많은 분들이 오셨으면 좋겠어요. I hope that as many people as possible will come to the wedding. And let me give you one more example of 가능한 한. Okay. And here we go. And then we still have one more special exception to this. 가능한 한. 많은 것을 끝내려고. I should probably write a little bit like neater, because not all of you will be like really good at reading like messy handwriting. 노력했어요. Oh, I got another donation. Oh, let me write this up. Why is one side looks green and the other side looks yellow? Okay, let me read this up for a second. Oh, Lynn, for Billy's new tablet fund, no dubs. I have to dab. You broke my board. Look, it's frozen on the color now. Hold on, I have to turn it off. Okay, there we go. Manually turn it off. Thank you, Lynn. I'm up to $86. Wow. Thank you so much, Lynn. Let's do a little dab. We got to do 10 dabs here. Getting a good workout here. Oh, what? How much is that? PHP 125. What is PHP? PHP Filipino $2.58. Nice. Wait, is that right? No. Yeah. Sweet. Cool. Okarintaro. Oh wait, wrong pen. Okarintaro. I'll just round it up to 3. Although I don't understand A and B, I still get the grammar for it. Okay, well, A would be like whatever comes before it, and B is whatever comes after it. I like your teaching style. I hope you lessons like this forget it. Yeah, thank you. Okarintaro. Thank you. No, it's no problem. No problem. What someone should find out, what is the currency that has the smallest exchange rate to United States dollars? Like the one that you could can you do like Zimbabwe currency? Can someone donate like 3 trillion the old Zimbabwe dollars and it'll be like 50 cents or something like that? I think that'd be pretty funny. No, it's not $125. It was 125 PHP, which Google says is like $2.50 US. Uganda, what's the currency that has the, like I said, the highest number? I'd like to see someone do that just for fun. I don't know if anyone's living there. Okay, thank you. 가능한 한. So as long as it's possible, literally, 많은 것을, many things, 끝내려고, intending to or trying to finish many things, as long as it's possible, 노력했어요. I tried to finish many things as long as it's possible. But like I said, more naturally, this will translate to whatever it comes after with together. As many as possible. So as many things as possible. 가능한 한, 많은 것. So as many things as possible. 끝내려고 노력했어요. I tried to finish as many things as possible. 가능한 한, 많은 것을 끝내려고 노력했어요. 가능한 한, 많은 것. So as many things as possible. 가능한 한 많은 것을 끝내려고 노력했어요. I tried to finish as many things as possible. If you're not familiar with this yogo form, I do have a full live stream about it. It just means to intend to do something, to try to do something. Like that's what you're trying to do. So trying to finish. Okay. And here is our last form with han. Now, I said it's always 는 han, except for 가능 한 han, in which it's han han. It's never going to be any sort of other form besides 는 han, except with these two verbs. The second verb that has an exception is 관하다. Let's write that again. 관하다. And this is also really useful. 관하다 means to be about. Like that's about something. Like I read a book about something, but it's more of a fancy word. It's kind of like to refer to. So like I read a novel that refers to Korean history in that sort of sense. It's like a fancy kind of word, to be about. But you'll see it used in regular Korean, 관해서, something that's regarding or something like that. This one can also change to 관, han, han. 관, han, han. There are no other verbs that can change with any sort of exceptions besides 가능하다 and 관하다. So you can just learn these separately. So literally this means as long as it's about, right? As long as it refers to something. So as long as it's about something. Before I tell you guys, could you guess what a natural translation of this could be? I'm just wondering if you could maybe guess without looking it up. Hey, Mia Allen. Yes, European dollars, European US dollars. Watching all the way from England. England US dollars. Nice. Love your lessons. You're a natural teacher. I always understand everything. Go get that towel. Thank you, Mia. Mia. I don't know how much a tablet will cost, but I really appreciate it. This is helping. Like I said, I'm going to use this until it completely dies, but like I hope I can't even charge it a lot. So I charged it last time on Thursday to try to prepare it for today, and it died like 3 minutes after. So I finally got it charged. Thank you. So let's do 5 dabs. Okay. Thank you, Mia. Okay. Let's see if you guys can guess. I'm just trying to see if you guys can guess what 관한한 might mean. So literally, the limits or the conditions of it being about something. Just take it for a second. Ricardo, not bad. Ricardo is actually very close. In fact, if you translated it that way, Ricardo, I think that would be a nice way to translate it. It's not the one that I'm looking for. It's not the right answer, but it's not a wrong answer. It's good. As far as something concerned, yeah, I think I do like that, reading that again. I think that sounds pretty good. 한국인인 내가 봐도 정말 훌륭한 강의이다. Thank you. 아무흐 호랭이. As long as it's about Korean drama. Yeah, I mean, literally it means as long as it's about. Ricardo had a really nice alternate translation as far as something's concerned, but there's an even more natural translation than that. Let me rewrite this here. When it comes to, literally, as long as it's about something. So, well, as long as it refers to this, as long as it's about this, when it comes to that. When it comes to fish, well, that guy's an expert. That's sort of usage. When it comes to, so as long as you're talking about something, as long as it's about that, when it comes to that. So this is a fancy sounding expression, so it's not going to be what you would just throw out all the time. You're not going to be something, 관한한, blah, blah, blah. But the way you use it is you take the particle a and you attach it after a noun. So literally, to refer to, so literally it means to refer to that noun that it comes after. So that's how you use it, which is a little bit different than 가능하다, which was like we just had 가능 han han followed by an adjective or something like that. So as long as it's about, as long as it refers to whatever it comes after. So let's do an example. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. 그분. So literally that person or him or her. 그분은 나무. 나무 meaning trees, or it could mean wood, but here let's just say it means trees. 나무에 관한 한. So as long as it's related to, as long as it's about, as long as it refers to, I'll say refers to, as long as it refers to trees, or as long as it's about trees, well, that person is 세계가 인정한, sorry, this is, I'm going to write it down here so it's not confusing. This is not the han that we're learning. This is just the conjugated verb, 인정하다. So 인정한, 인정하다 means to accept, to, there's a better translation. Not renowned. There's a, it's on the tip of my tongue. I use this word all the time. 인정. That would be accepted? It's like accepted, like you totally accept someone as being something. Sorry, this is an example of a word that I don't know in English. Acknowledge. That's the word I was looking for. Acknowledge. But yeah, accept. So 세계가 인정한. So something that the world accepted, or something that the world acknowledged. 전문가. 전문가 means some sort of a master or an expert. 전문가, and then we can finish the sentence. 임. So 임 is from the verb 이다, to be. So this is just another way to say something. Someone is certainly something. 임, 이, subject marker. Then do I have space? I don't have much space. I'll be really careful. Is that even visible? Okay, it is. Very hard to read. Let me write that again. Let's try to write it okay. It's not the best writing, but whatever. Okay, 분명해요. So 분명하다, to be clear, to be certain that someone is 임, an expert, acknowledged, the world acknowledged expert that he is. It is clear. So I'm sure that, or it's clear that, that person, 나무에 관한 한. So as long as it's about trees, as long as it refers to trees, or when it comes to trees, that person is an expert who is acknowledged by the world. Or we would say 세계가 인정한 전문가. We would say a world-renowned expert. 분명해요. It is clear that person is. Or you might say, I'm sure that person is a world-renowned expert. 그분은 나무에 관한 한. 그분은 나무에 관한 한. 세계가 인정한 전문가임. 이 분명해요. I can't even read my own writing. Let me close this here. Okay, look at that for a second. Look at that for a second. Acknowledge. Is there any sort of better translation for that? It's like, I swear I had a translation on the tip of my tongue I just couldn't think of. Anyway. Okay. 그분은. So as for that person. 나무에 관한 한. When it comes to trees. 세계가 인정한 전문가. Expert. That the world acknowledges. So a world-renowned expert. 이미 분명해요. It's clear that person's a world-renowned expert when it comes to trees. Okay, the sentence was very hard for me because I couldn't think of how I translate 인정하다 into English. Despite writing the sentence, I failed all of you. That rarely happens to me where I know a word in Korean, but I can't think of the English word. Most of the time, I'm pretty good about it. Like, if I know a word in Korean, I still know the English word. Sometimes there will be a word that I'm like, oh yeah, that word. I know that word. It means, I'm like, wait, what does that mean in English? I can't even remember. I haven't said that word. So it happens sometimes with words that we don't really use a lot, that I don't use very much in English. Like I said, acknowledge. Okay. Next and last sentence for this form. And we're kind of bad on time, but whatever. Sweden. Okay, Sweden is Sweden. They say Sweden. Sweden은 복지. 복지 means welfare, like social welfare, like that kind of thing. 복지에 관한 한. So, as long as it's about welfare, or when it comes to welfare, Sweden is 세계에서, in the world, 따라가다 means to follow. Or you might think of this more naturally as to come close to. To come close to. So a 나라, a country that can come close to Sweden in the world, 없어요. So there is no, 나라가 없어요. There is no country. I have to read the comments. There is no country that will follow or come close to in the world Sweden when it comes to welfare. 스웨덴은 복지에 관한 한. When it comes to welfare, well, Sweden, 세계에서 따라갈 나라가 없어요. There is no country that will follow Sweden in the world when it comes to welfare. So, when it comes to welfare, 복지에 관한 한, no country in the world can come close to Sweden. Or literally, no country in the world follows Sweden. 스웨덴은, it's always hard to say Sweden because I want to say Sweden in English. 스웨덴은 복지에 관한 한 세계에서 따라갈 나라가 없어요. So Sweden is, as for Sweden, when it comes to welfare, in the world, there is no country that comes close. There is no country that follows. Like that. Okay. What is some 눈치? No, I can translate 눈치 fine. I think that was like when I was before I knew all of the 눈치 expressions, I couldn't translate it very well. But no, it's fine. It's just social awareness. If you want to translate it as one word. And then each phrase will have different translations that we have in English that are very natural. So I no longer think 눈치 is a difficult one to translate. I can't think right now of a word that would be difficult to translate in Korean. Like some of the ones they usually bring up are like 정, 눈치, han could be one. Not this han, there's a different han. It means like sadness. I'm trying to think if there's any other, are there any words that are hard to translate into English? I can't actually think of any right now. Trying to think if there's other ones that are like you can't translate. Like some Koreans would say 답답하다, but that's not. We could just say frustrating or stuffy. So I'm trying to think if there's any that are like really actually like legitimately difficult to translate in English, and I can't think of any right now. Not off the top of my head. Okay, so that is the end of our lesson on Han, but there's still one more thing I want to talk about. I did a live stream previously about this form. Hold on, I always have to check over here because I can't check information on my tablet anymore because it's like dying. We learned about Isang in a previous lesson. And if you look at that lesson, we translated this as long as, or unless. So does this look a little bit familiar? 이상, as long as. 도와주지 않는 이상. As long as you don't help, or unless you help. 도와주지 않는 한. As long as you don't help, or if you or unless you help. So what's the difference? They both seem to mean the same thing in English, right? So are they similar? Are they the same? They're not the same. They have similarities, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. This is not going to be a full review of Isang, because we did a full live stream about that. I did a full hour-and-a-half live stream just about Isang by itself, and we learned all of its meanings, even when it's not used to mean this form. So watch that if you want to review that. So this part is for people who've already watched that lesson and are kind of confused now about what's the difference between Isang and Han. If you haven't watched that lesson, you really don't need this part of the lesson, because like I said, we're not going to be going over this form much. We're just going to do a really brief overview just to kind of refresh you. But if you haven't watched that, I might recommend skipping this part, or just at least not taking notes about it so you don't confuse yourself. Okay, Isang kind of works Isang works in a similar way as Han. You have A, the part of the sentence before Isang, followed by B, which comes after. But the actual meaning of this is different, although the translation is exactly the same. What this form Isang means is that B is something expected, or B is something that's natural. But because of A. So this doesn't mean that B only happens required, this doesn't mean that B happens as, I should say this the other way. This doesn't mean that A is the requirement for B, like Han. Han means that A is the only way that B happens. No, this means that B is expected. Like, of course B, because of A. So actually, Isang is more of a because form, and Han is more of an if form. But their effect is similar. Both of these can end up getting translated as long as, or unless, in the exact same way when you translate them. Now, we're not done though, so just keep that in mind. Isang is because. So Isang is B because of A. So, of course, B because of A. That's what Isang means. Whereas Han is B if A, right? But in that way, you can kind of see that they have a similar use. Like, B is happening after or because of, somehow because of A in both of these forms. Okay, so now that I've thoroughly confused you more, let me just write this here. Just gonna restate this. So yeah, just writing this again for your notes. So then you can think of the Isang form as meaning B, of course B, because of A. So B is expected, that's natural, yeah, of course, because of A. Okay, just wanted to refresh your memory for a second. Now let's talk about a little bit more about how they're different though, because they are not the same thing. You can't just swap them. Isang can be used with both action verbs and descriptive verbs. Now, Han, we learned, can only be used with action verbs, and it's always nun Han. Well, Isang can be used with action verbs or descriptive verbs. It can also be used in the present tense or the past tense. So it's quite versatile. You can say B because A did, or because A was, right? Or because A descriptive verb. Descriptive verb is, descriptive verb was, action verb is, action verb was, B because of A. Han, you can only say A has to be an action verb in the present tense. So only if someone does something, does, present tense, action verb. You could not say something like, if A was Han, as long as A was Han. That doesn't make any sense in Korean. Han has to be used with an action verb in the present tense. So it's much more limited in how you can conjugate it. If you wanted to say something like, of course, be because of A, well, you have to use isang. Even like grammatically, you have to use isang because it wouldn't work with anything except an action verb if you wanted to use han. So yeah, action verb and descriptive verb in the past tense or in the present tense. So I'll say that again. Isang can be used not only with action verbs in the present tense, but also with descriptive verbs and, let me say that again for editing. So, oh, 1 second. New member. A plumber man. A plumber man, nice. Are you actually a plumber or is that just a nickname? If you are actually a plumber, that's pretty cool. A plumber man. Welcome, plumber man. Let's do 5 dabs for a new member. Okay, getting tired here. And plumber man broke my board. I think the board's just broken. It's okay. I don't need a new board. That's fine. I'll keep this one. Thank you. Okay, so I'll say this again. Isang can be used not just with action verbs, but also with descriptive verbs. And not only in the present tense, but also in the past tense. So it's much more flexible than han. Okay, the next thing we need to say is that whenever isang is used with a positive verb, by positive I mean not negative. So han we saw used with both positive and negative verbs. And isang can also be used with positive and negative verbs. But whenever isang is used with a positive verb, it doesn't translate as long as. It'll translate back to since or because or now that in that sense. Like because of that, well now because of that in that sort of way. So if you were to say like now because you are doing something or since you're doing this, you know, it'll work or whatever. And it wouldn't translate as long as, so naturally you can also just translate it in that case as since or now that. And this has to do with the fact that isang is kind of like a because form and han is an if form. So do you want to convey more of a because as long as, because of that? Or do you want to say as long as in like if? So that's kind of the difference to keep in mind. You want to say like, yeah, well, be because of A, then use isang. If you want to say, well, be if A, then use han. So in that sense, they're different, even though the English translations will still be the same a lot of the time. So isang will translate as since or now that whenever it's used with something that comes before it, which is positive, so not negative. Okay, we're not done. Just some little notes here. However, when you're using this form isang with a negative verb, or even often with a positive verb, they can still both work and both have the same translation and both be natural. So let me give you an example of a sentence where you can use either. Oops. This sentence actually comes from our live stream about isang. 날다 is to fly. So 날아가다 is to fly there. So 날아갈 수 없는. Let's do this with 이상. 날아갈 수 없는 이상. So because you cannot fly, or since you can't fly, or let me think. Unless you can fly, something like that. So unless you can fly, or as long as you can't fly, and let's use 제 시간 again. 제 시간에 on time. 도착하다, to arrive on time. 것 같아요. So 도착할 수 없다. You cannot arrive 제 시간에 on time. 없을 것 같아요. I don't think you will be able to, or literally, I think you won't be able to arrive on time. 이상. As long as you cannot fly, or unless you can fly, I don't think you're going to arrive on time. 날아갈 수 없는 이상 제 시간에 도착할 수 없을 것 같아요. So as long as you can't fly, or unless you can fly. Oh, new member. Hey, Grandpa Mikey, new member. Wait, you're already a member. You have the, I guess you resubscribed. Nice, thank you, Grandpa Mikey. Grandpa. Thank you. Of course, feel free to resubscribe during the stream. You also get 5 dabs for that too. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Okay. 날아갈 수 없는 이상. So unless you can fly, or literally as long as you cannot fly, 제 시간에 도착할 수 없을 것 같아요. I do not think you will be able to arrive on time, or I think you won't be able to arrive on time. So A, I don't think you're going to arrive on time. B, because you cannot fly. So of course B, of course you're not going to be on time because of A, or it's natural, it's expected that you won't be on time because of A, you can't fly. So that's what 이상 means. So I knew you guys, you probably expected I was going to do this when I wrote the sentence. This sentence also is perfectly natural and has the same meaning. 날아갈 수 없는 한. So 한, limit or boundaries or requirements. So you're not going to arrive on time if you can't fly. In that sense, as long as you can't fly, or unless you can fly, you're not going to get there on time. Notice that the English translation is the exact same thing. The only difference is the nuance. Are you trying to say, of course, you're not going to get there on time unless you can fly? Or are you trying to say, you will not get there on time unless this condition is met? Unless you can fly, if you can't fly, you're not going to get there on time, in that sort of sense. Do you want to emphasize that this is the condition for this? So it's focusing on this condition. Like, well, if you can fly, then you'll get there on time. But if you can't fly, I don't think you're going to arrive on time. That sort of meaning. Not 이상, because you can't fly, well, of course you're not going to arrive on time. Are you making an assumption? Right? Or are you making a statement? Like, unless you have this. If you don't have this, the requirement is this if you want to do this. So do you want to emphasize the fact that something's a requirement for something, or do you want to emphasize that just something's expected because of something? And if you don't care about that difference, feel free to use either one as long as you grammatically can. Again, keep in mind these are conjugated differently and can use different verbs. This is a case where you can use either because it's nun, and it's also being used with a action verb, here opta. Otherwise, if it's not, you have to just use 이상, because 이상 can use both action and descriptive, past tense and present tense. So just keep that in mind. If you don't really care though, feel free to use either one. Just understand that 이상 has more of a because feeling to it, and and what am I trying to say? And Han has more of an if feeling to it. Okay, and that is our lesson for today. And we only went over 15 minutes. Nice. Okay. Hopefully that made sense, because if you've already learned 이상 though, this should help a bit. Just to know that you can use either, but they have slightly different nuances. Okay, so that was the lesson for today. We're going to take questions. I say we, I mean me. I will take questions then for the next 15 minutes. Feel free to ask any questions you have. Hopefully you got some good notes out of today's lesson. We did cover a lot of stuff today. Guess we'll have to go over Han. Well, if you'd like, just keep in mind it is an advanced topic, so if you understand it, it's good. If you can't use it yourself yet, it might be okay, because it's something you'll be able to use once you get to an advanced level more easily, since it always comes together with other advanced stuff, like I shouldn't say that. It always comes in an intermediate level sentences or higher. You're not going to see like, as long as you can do it, I like cheese. Like, you wouldn't see it used with a beginner sentence usually. It's like, as long as we can accomplish that, as long as we can accomplish our goals before the end of the next year, we'll be able to meet our current obligations. You know, like, there'll be some fancy thing. It's not going to be a beginner sentence. That's why it's in advanced form. But as long as you can understand how it's used, then that's good. I think even beginner, intermediate level, can still get something out of learning this form, even if they themselves can't yet use it in their sentences. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you got it, but you still can't put it in your own sentences, that's okay. If you're not high intermediate level yet, this could be difficult to use yourself, but at least you can know what it means when you see it. Okay. Oh, Mia, she's talking about one-to-one class that I offer. In what kind of situations do you use 는, han? Speaking, both. It's not limited to only speaking or writing. Some forms are only seen more often in writing than speaking. This one is fine to use it for speaking, but it does have a kind of like a fancy feel, just like saying as long as. Like, well, as long as we can do that. But no, it doesn't sound too fancy. It's not weird. And even isang as well. I use isang when I'm speaking all the time. So they're both okay to use in speaking. It won't sound awkward. 가능 있는 한. Well, as long as there is a possibility, it makes sense, but usually they would say 가능 한, as long as it's possible. You say 가능 있는 한, as long as there is a possibility of something. If you put something before 가능, then it could be, because 가능 있다 could be to have a possibility of some. But usually they say 가능성이 있다, 가능성, possibility. 가능성이 있는 한, as long as there is a possibility of something. So you'd use a verb before that. You wouldn't just say by itself usually. So yes and no. You wouldn't use it as 가능 있는, but you could use it as 가능성 있는 with something that comes before it that would modify that 가능성. What kind of possibility is it? Is the live next Sunday? Yes, Sunday we'll have another live because we did one last week, but we didn't do one the week before that. So next week's live will be, I believe, the lesson on 편이다. 편. So yeah. There's a grammar form to say because that can be used with pan. Yeah, ayakata. That check out the Isang stream that I did. You can find it in the Google document, which is linked on my community page, or you can just search my channel for Isang and you'll find it. It sounds similar to tamyan. No, tamyan is simply if, and that's it. If you do something, you can do this. If you have time. You wouldn't tell someone, well, as long as you have time, can we meet? Like, it sounds kind of awkward, like just if you have time, right? As in if or when you have time. Not as long as you have time, like really only if sort of sense. And tamyan is not if and only if. That would be ya. Ya would be if and only if, which is a little bit different form. But I get what you're saying. As long as you kind of get that it has an if feeling to it, that's fine. But it's not similar in usage to that. 도와주지 않는 한, 이게, 이게, not 이게, you would use 이것, 이것을, object marker, because 이게 would mean 이것이, and 끝내다 is a transitive verb, meaning it can take an object. So you could have 이것을, like I'm not going to finish this, or 이거, 이게 끝나는데, you could use that, for this to finish. So it's just a 끝나다 and 끝내다 difference for your sentence. Hold on, I can't, if someone said something, I can't scroll up and see your comment, so you'll have to just say it again. Like I said, I should get a new tablet. I'm just cheap because tablets are very expensive. Even this budget tablet, I think, was over $100 that I got 6 years ago, and all I use it for is just reading YouTube comments. I don't use it, it doesn't do anything else. Don't watch videos on it, can't even use a browser on it, just open the YouTube comments, read them during the live, and then shut it off. And it doesn't even shut off now. I told you, I can't even push the button. Like a normal tablet, you push the button and it turns off temporarily, and you can turn, that's just the screen. That doesn't even work because all the drivers are gone. I can't even change the volume with this. It does nothing. I can only go to the start menu and shut it down with a keyboard. Invite invalid on the Discord? I don't think so. No, it works fine. Yeah, the invite works fine. The Discord channel is just where I hang out. It's where everyone hangs out, and for everyone who comes to these live streams and chats with other people who are learning Korean or some native speakers there, asks questions, shares videos or whatever, and just kind of talks about anything they'd like for people who are learning Korean. I have a tablet and it doesn't work, so I use my iPad. Well, then you have a tablet that works, your iPad. Like, well, I have a tablet that doesn't work. But when it's broken, I just pull out my brand new iPad. Like, okay. Like, I have a laptop, but I can't hold the laptop up and read your comments. So I just use, like I said, I just have this little tablet. Okay, I guess it is, like, if it doesn't work, I mean, it's not too bad. I can touch it, and I'm not going to have to accidentally close any windows. But as a negative thing, I can't scroll on it, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to take questions just for 8 more minutes, and then we'll stop today's live stream. And again, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you also to everyone who participated, who helped. We've got $95 for our tablet fund. Danger, Cheryl, Gabriella, Carrie, Quinton, Mel, Tuesday, Grandpa Mikey, Ben, the guys whose last name I couldn't pronounce properly, Lynn, Okariataro, Mia, a plumber man, and again, Grandpa for joining. Just checking the chat here. I wish I could scroll up and see if I missed anything. Oh, thanks for the lesson. I didn't struggle as much as Pa. Yeah, that's nice. I think Pa is going to be our... We're always going to compare every lesson to Pa. So it's like next time I do an advanced lesson, you're going to say, on a scale of, like you said, on a scale of dit to Pa, how difficult is this lesson? So this lesson was more like the advanced lesson. Like, yeah, it's advanced, technically, just like Isang is kind of advanced, but understanding it is not. It's just advanced in the sense that it's used in more advanced sentences. And it requires intermediate stuff to use it, but the form itself is not very difficult to grasp, I think. Can you do one more example? What kind of example? I did give a few extra examples during the live, in addition to the ones that we had prepared. You can try making one. I can tell you how it is. Top 5 tablets under $100. The thing is, it has to be a Windows tablet because I need to be able to install Chrome and log into my YouTube so that I can check the comments on it. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if I can check the comments on YouTube without having a actual Chrome browser, because I don't want to just watch the live stream on a tablet because I don't want to have to use the internet to view it. I just want to view the comments. So I think I need a Chrome tablet to do that. I mean, yeah, a tablet that has Chrome, and the cheap ones don't. They're usually Android, like $50 tablets, and that they don't let you actually install Chrome or Windows or anything, which is what I need. On a scale of, oh, that's right, yeah, Arlie had said that. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll buy another one of these tablets. I don't know, like, it worked okay. It's unfortunate that it died, but it did work okay for the most part. I'm actually going to see if it's possible to factory reset this. Maybe if I factory reset it, it'll work again. I don't, or it'll just completely break. And then next week, you'll see me just using my phone. We'll see. Electronics for like $30 and they work. Yeah, you can still buy that stuff today. And it works. Kind of. I remember my first MP3 player, I think I bought it for like $80 in Korea, and it kind of worked for, I'd say, a good 2 months. And then it broke. The button stopped working, and then it just actually broke. Like the buttons didn't even light up, and then it wouldn't turn on. It was, yeah. You can always buy that type of stuff. It just doesn't work these days. Oh, wow, Gina Cianfoni. Gina Cianfoni. 감사합니다. Thank you, Gina. Wow. $25. Wow, that got me over. Now we're at 120 for today. Okay, I'm going to leave this light. This light, you broke it. I'm going to leave it on. Okay, got to get, wait, we need a different one. Got to get 25 dabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 25. Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. Give me a breath. Oh. Okay, we're good. I'm good. Cameron sent some money via... Oh, really? How did you know that? Hold on, let me check. Hold on. Did Cameron send something? Oh. Oh my goodness. Holy. Someone sent... Okay, so I got a donation, not through YouTube, but still a donation. Cameron just sent... I don't like you. I understand. It's okay. Cameron sent $100. Oh my goodness. Okay. Cameron is our producer today. Wow. Cameron, seriously? And yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for your donations. And yeah, Cameron with $100. Oh my goodness. Yes, 100 dabs. Okay. The only thing, I don't have any music that can last for long enough for us to do 100 dabs. So I just need some space. I just need some more floor space. I don't want to see my light. You guys don't want to, did you see the room light? No, can't see the lights. There's no lights in here. Okay, we'll put it there. All right, here you go, 100 dabs. Okay, 100 dabs, here we go. Okay, we're gonna do them I'm gonna do them in sets of 20. So 5 sets of 20, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, it's 1 set. 4 more sets to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 40, 60 more. 3 more sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, my neck. 19, 20. Okay. 2 more sets. 2 more sets to go. Okay. 40 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, last 20. Last 20. We're almost done. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Whew. Okay. Okay. Oh. I'm already dead. A plumberman. Thank you, a plumberman. Or should I say no thank you, but thank you. I appreciate it. I'm starting to regret this. But I like really appreciate it, but yeah, I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Thank you, a plumberman, for $20. I can't even write. I wrote your name so messy on the board. I can't even like move my hand properly. Okay, plumberman. I can get some music because it's 18. It's 20, so we can do that. Thank you, a plumberman. Okay, we can do it. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hold on, let's switch. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good, guys. We're okay. Everything's good, guys. Oh, I also got a new Patreon. Jamel joined. Thank you, Patreon. Here, one more. Okay. Okay, guys. Hold on, just give me a second. Okay. Just do squats. Squats, squats might be a good option. Maybe, what about like dab squats? What about dab squats? Could that work? Like could you imagine, like, I'm gonna change into a fitness channel, I swear. All my Korean videos are gonna be deleted. It's just gonna be me, like, I'll be like super buff, like one of those guys you'd see on like Muscle Beach or like a JoJo character. I'll be like doing like these crazy dabs and stuff. Whole point I suggested squats so you don't have to dab. Yeah, squats are hard though too. Oh, I need a pose for a thumbnail. Yeah, thumbnail. I don't even know. What do I pose for? How do I pose, guys? I think we can afford a new tablet though. So thank you for everyone's donation. I think we can get a new tablet. Like I said, I'll pick out some budget Windows tablet. I'm not gonna buy it though until this thing totally dies, but yeah, we'll see. I feel like it's definitely, it barely even turned on. It wouldn't even turn on for 2 days. And then it magically actually charged. It wouldn't even charge. Even if I tried 3 different plugs, it wouldn't charge. But then I barely got it to charge on one plug. So we'll see. But anyway, I'm ready now. For when it dies, I can immediately get a new one. So that, I think we're good. So thank you everyone for today. Dab while holding the tablet. I can hold it out. Let's see, maybe this way. I'm not sure if I should show the URL. I guess it's okay. Maybe I'll hold it like this. I don't know if the URL is important or not. Okay, I'll hold it like this. But I can't really, okay, maybe in this hand. Here we go. Like this. Hold up the tablet. Okay, maybe like this. Or maybe this way. Maybe this way. Yeah, like this. Okay. I think that's the thumbnail. Oh, my arms are killing me. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. Any other last second questions? Any other last second questions? Oh, my goodness. Like lifting my arms. I got to edit this video after we finish today, guys. I got to edit. I'm not done. Dablet? Savannah. Dablet. I like it. Dablet. Yeah. It's the dablet. Oh my goodness. Emmanuel Lopez, why is Korean so hard? Korean is not hard. Korean just takes a lot of time, and for some people, putting in that much time is hard. Actually, for most people, putting in the amount of time that it takes to learn Korean is hard. Korean itself is not hard. The dumbest people in the world, there's dumb people all around the world, right? Some of them live in the US, some of them live in Korea, some of them live in Canada, some of them live in every country. Every country has really smart people and really dumb people, but they all speak their country's language. Korean is not hard. It just takes a lot of time, and for most people, it's hard to put in that much time. So yes, it's very hard to find the time and to put in the time to learn Korean, but Korean itself, I wouldn't say is especially hard. I'll just say that. Okay. Billy did 121. Yeah, I did. Actually, I thought I did more, because I also did dabs for the members, and so that I also did the extra. Oh yeah, all at once. Yes, that's right, 121. Total today we did about 240 dabs. Yeah. What is Mosip? Okay, we'll do this one last thing and then we'll go. What is Mosip? That's a good question. Oh my goodness. Mosip means a look of someone, the way someone looks. It's actually a better way. Could be something. It's any sort of noun, but I'll just say the way someone is how it tends to get used. The way someone looks or someone's appearance. It really just means a look or an appearance, but it's used with a person's appearance. So you could use it, you can use an adjective before it. That can be a descriptive verb or an action verb and means the way someone looks when they are doing something, if it's an action verb, or the certain way, the descriptive verb way someone looks, or someone's descriptive verb appearance. That could be happy, sad, strange appearance. With an action verb, like, for example, 춤 추다, to dance. 춤을 추다, to dance. 춤을 추고 있는 모습, the way that someone looks when they dance. Literally, they are that person's dancing appearance. So you could say is cool, or the way they look when they're smiling. 사람 웃는 모습, literally their smiling appearance, like that. Or we'd say the way someone looks when they smile, when they do something. So that's what it means. It's an intermediate concept, but I think you'll see it all the time. The important thing is just to know how to conjugate action verbs and descriptive verbs as adjectives, because when you know that, every other grammar form in Korean gets easier because you can just apply those same rules. You don't have to learn like special conjugation rules for different forms if you know how to change things in adjectives. So I think that's really like one of the most important forms for advanced students and intermediate students is learn how to get really good at changing action verbs and descriptive verbs into adjectives. And then you can use every future grammar form you'll ever come in contact in Korean. There are no grammar forms in Korean that have their own unique conjugation rules. They all use very basic stuff. Verb plus the grammar form, or noun plus the grammar form, or noun plus a and the grammar form. Or if it's a verb, it's usually verb into an adjective plus that grammar form. Even difficult things you can think, even today's form, 는 han is just action verb, adjective, present tense form, plus han, the end. And if you don't know that, you have to remember, oh, it's 는 han. But if you remember han, all you have to do is, oh, it's the regular present tense action verb conjugation, han. Isang is just adjective plus isang, the end. And just you can't use future for it because it's saying because of this. So it wouldn't make sense in future tense anyway, in that sense. Okay, that's enough for today. Everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you as well for everyone who's donated. Special thanks to our producer today, Cameron, produced this live stream. I'm gonna go put on some muscle rub, and I have a little massage thing I'll put on my neck, and drink some more tea, and start editing this video. So if you are a member of YouTube, check the channel after a few hours. You'll see this video. Oh, I'm tired, like exhausted, tired. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Oh, my arms are tired. See you guys. Oh, goodness.